How's it going, guys? John McDevitt here with a 2018 Harley-Davidson Softail Sport Glide. We're about ready to change the oil and oil filter, so we're going to show you how to do that. But before we do, let's go ahead and show you exactly what kind of tools you're going to need for the job. Alright, so here you go. Very minor tools needed. Socket wrench, 3/8 drive, extension, 5/8 socket, oil filter wrench, and a hook pick. And that's it. So now you know what you need. Let's get in there and start doing it. Alright, so starting off, we're on the right side of the bike. We're going to go ahead and remove the oil dipstick. This helps it drain smoother and faster. It's toolless, so you just twist left and pull up. Alright, let's go to the oil filter. Alright, here we are back at the left side of the bike at the oil filter. I'm going to go ahead and crack that. And just to mention here, you're going to want to have your bike up to temperature, operating temperature. That's going to help the oil to flow faster out, as well as get the majority of it out. So go for a ride, do it right when you come back for a ride, but make sure your bike's hot. Alright, so we got that draining. And while that's draining, we'll still leave it connected a little bit. It's doing its draining, and we'll go ahead and go to the drain plug. Alright, so at the oil drain plug, we're still on the left side of the bike. In the very back underneath, right by the belt, it's this back one right here. So we're gonna slide our oil catch way back. And this is your 5/8. And just remove. Alright, with the drain plug out and the oil drained, we're going to go ahead and finish removing the oil filter. Let that drain all the way out. Alright, and while we're letting that do the rest of its thing, we'll go ahead and move over to the drain bolt itself. Alright, so at the drain plug, all you really need to do is remove this old O-ring with your hook pick and get the metal shavings off the magnet. Alright, so then before we reinstall this, we're going to put on the new O-ring as well as a little bit more thread sealant, and then we'll go ahead and install that. Alright, so we're going to reinstall the drain plug. Once you have the drain plug tight, you're going to torque it down to 17 foot-pounds. Alright, let's go back to the new oil filter. Alright, so at the new oil filter, you want to add some new oil to the new oil filter so that on the initial startup, it pulls in some oil, not just a big gulp of air, as well as filling the oil filter. Take some of that burp up right there. You want to put some oil on the O-ring here as well. This will make it so the next time you go to service this, it's easier to remove. If you don't put any oil on this, it can adhere to the bracket and make it a lot harder to install. So a little bit there, and then we'll go ahead and install it. Alright, so you're not going to want to use the oil filter wrench to install the new oil filter. You're going to do it by hand. Once the gasket makes contact to the mounting surface, you're going to want to continue 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn. So let's do that. Alright, so now we're on the right side of the bike. We're going to go ahead and add the oil, and that is our last step. Initial fill calls for 4 quarts, so we're going to add 4 quarts. We're going to check it cold, make sure it's close, make sure there's no leaks. Then we're going to heat the bike up and check it hot and add any more that we need to get it to the appropriate level. Alright, lastly, reinstall the dipstick. And before you go off on your ride, do your final check. And that's it. 2018 Softail Sport Glide oil change.